Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Ask data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
Hi everyone. Google as we know it, their search market share is dropping massively. We're seeing constant news about how social media is the new search engine. TikTok is a search engine. We've got all these things to worry about. And not only that, user behavior is evolving massively. Users now don't browse and shop and kind of look online in the way they used to in the last 10, 20, or even 5 years. Are we good? Okay. Okay. So is paid search as we once knew it dying? Now, I feel like everyone in this room is probably going to have an opinion. I don't want to give you a spoiler either, so you're going to have to just listen to me for 20 minutes so we find the ultimate answer here. So, dramatic introduction done about the state of play in PPC. This is me, Head of Paid Media at Liberty Marketing Group, nearly a decade of digital marketing and PPC experience and over 150 million pounds in ad spend managed in that time. When imposter syndrome isn't crippling me, I like to think I know what I'm talking about. So can anyone in this room beat my 10 years of experience in PPC? Hands up. Nice. 15 years, anyone? Yeah, 20 years? Here he is. One OG in the room, love that. So, how did we get to the point where we're all in this room today talking about PPC? It all started here. Now, this is meant to be representative of the Big Bang. Don't know if it is or not. So maybe we're somewhere in this picture. I'm not really sure. I'm quite good at PPC, not that good at astrophysics. This is the internet. Obscure IT crowd reference. Whoop. So the internet started, we're heading way back to the 1980s, long time ago, guys, I remember. And we saw a kind of incoming internet boom. You know, people had computers in their homes in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And we had some internet classic search engines at the time. We had Yahoo, still around today. We had Alta Vista. Does anyone remember Alta Vista and Ask Jeeves? Yeah. And that's where we were. But with this increased massive volume in content, the search engines at the time actually really struggled to offer kind of relevant and reflective results on the SERP, again, because of this enormous boom that was coming. And thus, another grainy picture, Google was born, on the 4th of September, 1998, this very humble garage that I think you can still visit today in Menlo Park, California. Now, Google actually started with a much more catchy name. Does anyone know what it is? Yeah. Project Backrub. Yes, I'll be glad we're not all saying that today. Google's much more catchy, I think. And Google's answer really, and their mission at the time, as it still is today, was to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and universally useful. So, at this point in time with the internet, Amazon only sold books. Online shopping wasn't a thing. It was very risky to kind of input your credit card information online. And importantly, the Nokia 3310 was in its prime. Who had one? I had one. Classic. This is a long time ago. We're really throwing it back here. And again, as we saw time kind of evolve, user behavior evolve, user demand evolve, again, with that became the evolution of technology. And Google AdWords was born. Woo! I sound drunk. I'm not drunk, I'm just excited. Google AdWords was born. So the initial concept of pay-per-click is actually invented or first presented in 1998 by a company called Overture, who then bought out Yahoo, I believe. And at the time, the SERPs were, again, really kind of struggling to give that information up front. And Yahoo had things like banner ads and display ads. But again, it's all quite intrusive. It was all very, you're browsing and there's these awful pop-ups. And what Google decided to do was to create ads that blended in naturally at the time with the SERP. So Google AdWords was born in the year 2000. Now, I think the blurry nature of this picture really adds to the authenticity of how long ago it was. I don't know if you guys can read this, hopefully you can, but this is the oldest screenshot of what Google looked like at the time. I think what's really, really great is we're seeing click here in the ads. We are seeing some multiple dollar signs in the ads, which is great. We're seeing phone numbers in the ads. I think all of these ads would not have been approved today, and thank goodness for that. So Google's popularity grew. They had a really good job. But again, they needed that sustainable kind of revenue building business model. That's where Google AdWords came from. And in 2004, when Google went public, the revenue from their ads was 96%. Revenue from other stuff, 4%. Maths, right? And it kind of stayed the same. So Google's revenue last year was almost 76% from ads. We've got some revenue from subscriptions and their devices and some revenue from the cloud over here too. But really not a lot's changed in that time. So how do we go from this in 1998 to this, which is much nicer? We're not going to have any more blurry screenshots anymore, which I think we're all really pleased about. The main kind of thing that happened is that Google kept up with the increases and the evolutions, again, in kind of technology, user behavior, user demand. So we went from this to this, which is much nicer, not only because it's less blurry, but there's a lot more information up front that we can see here. We have got some sponsored ads that may or may not blend in with the SERP. But again, we're offering so much more information up front. Now, we're not quite at DEFCON 1 or 5, I'm not sure which way around it is, where no one's clicking, but Google is giving everyone less and less of a reason to do so, to click the ads, by offering far more information up front, far more content, far more context. So we're still in our time machine era right now. I will come back very shortly into how this affects everyone in the room. But again, the evolution of the SERP. So 2012, product listings, shopping ads launched. 2013, knowledge panels launched. Featured snippets launched. So again, we're seeing this trend of more information up front. 2015, 10 years ago, mobile ranking factors introduced, machine learning added to the auction process, and people also ask launch. Again, this was just 10 years ago. Smart bidding was launched 9 years ago, 2016. And mobile first indexing was in place from 2018. And all of these things were in response to, again, evolving technology, evolving user behaviors, and evolving, I suppose, demands from consumers. So users were asking for faster, instant answers without having to browse a website. There was the growth in e-commerce that we saw as well. Mobile internet browsing overtook that of desktop in October 2016, so 9 years ago. There was the growing demand for visual content. No more were the kind of text-heavy websites of the early noughties. Everyone's asking for less text, more visuals up front. And voice search too. This is a show of hands. This is my own little study here. Does anyone use voice search? Hands up if you use voice search. Okay, so a few of you. Don't think it quite took off in the way that they imagined, but there's still time. And rise in those more kind of conversational search queries as well. So again, user behavior has shifted massively in just the last 20 years alone. And the skill set that the people 20 years in had 20 years ago are actually no longer applicable today. And in the spirit of fairness, being very fair to Google today, as well as some amazing evolutions that have stuck around today and are still really important, they fucked up quite a few times. They tried. Google Plus, Hum to Search. I actually wrote an article on Hum to Search when it came out. I was like, this is it. This is my career-defining moment. 2-3 years on, it's had about 10 views. No one cared about Hum to Search. Google Knoll was meant to be the answer to Wikipedia, if we can imagine. Google Podcasts, Google Answers. So here there have been multiple attempts at evolution, again, to meet user demands and shifts in user behavior that actually didn't work out so well as well. So how has the SERP evolved? Well, even 2015, a search for Google, again, you've got these kind of settings on the side, which you can and can't use. You've got the tabs at the very top and these tabs here. Google, again, a lot more information up front that we're taught to provide in PPC anyway. And then we've got the knowledge panel, again, September the 4th, 1998, don't forget that. And then the same search in 2018. So you can see, again, even in 4 years, there's been a significant evolution in Google and its SERP. Now, what that means for us and the people in this room, see, I told you I'm bringing it back. What this means for us is that, respectfully, it doesn't matter whether you've been doing this 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. What matters is you've got the experience of the last couple of years, really, and the last few years to really understand how this all works and to really make your Google ads actually work. So we then saw a shift. We shifted away from Google AdWords and shifted to Google Ads. This was in 2017, 2018, I believe. Some people still call it Google AdWords today. If anyone in this room does, get out. But it's because, again, they wanted to better reflect all the different ways that people can engage with Google. And again, we're seeing that today. So it's not just about search ads anymore. Was it ever? Now we're talking about, again, discovery, Gmail, Maps, video. All of this is now part of the Google Ads ecosystem that wasn't 10, 20, even to an extent 5 years ago. Oh, good. We're not moving on from this. Okay, cool. So again, over the last, even the 10 years that I've been doing this, the best practices of like the 2000s and the 2010s, they actually no longer apply anymore. You can make arguments, you can fight with me about this afterwards, but right now, this is what we're saying. So bidding strategies of, again, yesteryear, manual bidding, there was such a focus on really just driving the most amount of traffic for the cheapest CPCs possible. Now we've got smart bidding, automated bidding. Yes, manual bidding still has its place, but really the majority of us and the majority of of accounts that we manage has shifted in that way. So the skill set of a PPC practitioner has changed. Bid caps, again, very aggressive caps on CPCs to make sure no one's budget went wild. Today, really, Google wants us to have no CPC caps, no limits on how much we can spend per click. Structure. We've gone back and forth on this over the last 20 years, honestly. At first, it was like, just chuck everything there, see what works. Then we moved to this hyper-granular SCAG theme. So again, is single keyword, single match type, etc. within each ad group to, I guess, kind of support ad rank, support quality score, and get that really, really strong relevance between the landing page, the keyword, and the ad copy. Today, we're being pushed to use a simplified, condensed structure to train the algorithm to build as much data as possible. Keywords, we've gone from broad match and broad match modifier, and may he rest in peace. And today we use, so I was just going to put broad because that's what Google wants us to do. I personally am a phrase and exact match girly, and I don't know if I ever won't be. So we're saying that today the best practices are broad, phrase, and exact, but really Google wants us all to use broad. And ad formats. Again, at the time, all we had to worry about was making really good expanded text ads. What about today? Search uses RSAs. Was it, someone spoke the other day, I can't remember who it was. It was you. You spoke the other day. I mentioned, what was it, 30,000 combinations? more than 30,000 combinations of ads you can get from RSAs these days. So we've gone from like 3 headlines, 2 descriptions to 30,000 possible combinations of ads that we can show. And as well as that, we now need to be experts in performance max, discover, video, demand gen. So again, our skill sets massively evolved from just being able to do these things to do all of these things here as Google Ads experts. Okay, this is me right now struggling on this bloody remote. Right. Cool. And as well as all that we just spoke about, we've got all these very scary headlines here too. So we now need to be considering zero-click search redefines marketing. No one's clicking ads anymore. In a couple of years, no one's ever going to click any of our ads. The way people search the web is changing. VPN demand surges around the world. So again, affecting our conversion tracking and the data we capture. Is TikTok becoming a search engine? Who knows? Meridian, so like this marketing mix modeling with conversion tracking. And again, the rise of zero-click content optimizing for 2025 search trends. What's wrong with us optimizing towards one thing like we did in 2000? This is just not how it works anymore. So I feel like everyone in this room should be equally as frazzled and passionate about this as I am right now. Cool. So along that time, we've also lost a lot of the levers we had to optimize. Right? A lot of the things that we could do to have control over our Google ads, we now no longer do. Spoiler, is paid search as we once knew it dying? Absolutely, 100%. Not only that, the SERP's changing, the way users respond online is changing, our skill sets as PPC practitioners are training. So like, absolutely, you can't say that search as we once knew it isn't dying, because it is. Here's my crystal ball, where I'm going to talk about the future and what I think that means for the people in this room. So again, whether you're 10, 15, 20, 2 years in to your PPC and kind of marketing career, these are the things that I think you should be thinking about to kind of future-proof your career, but also future-proof your skill set for your clients, your brands, and the people that you work for. So I've put this into 4 pillars. This is all my opinion, like educated guesses. I know since we've been here, anyone that's been here, even this morning and yesterday, there's been a lot of talk about creative, and I think that's important. There's a lot of talk about AI, and I think that's important too. But here's where I see the future of PPC and our role. Continued and growing integration between PPC and SEO. I can see a future where we don't have any input on our headlines and descriptions, and we can see evidence of this happening already. And I think what I think is going to happen is that we'll have to work much closer with our friends at brightonSEO to make sure that we are optimizing landing pages with the content required to dynamically generate those really catchy headlines and descriptions. Some of the levers we have today will disappear. And that's kind of obvious, right? The things that we could do 10, 20 years ago, we can't do to control our ads and tame our ads anymore. This is one of the most important ones that I think, again, kind of tied into AI, but I do think our skill as PPC practitioners will shift from, again, creating clickable ads and driving traffic and all those things, to steering the algorithms towards learning more about data, capturing more data, to, again, steer the algorithms, train the algorithms, and tell Google what it is that we actually want as the end result. And I can see, kind of in line with pillar 1, dynamically generated content, so tailored messaging for absolutely everyone. And that is it from me. So thank you very much for joining me on this kind of whistle-stop tour of the last 25, 30 years in marketing. Thank you so much. My Fitbit's going off, so either my heart rate's really high or I've just done 10,000 steps. And yeah, I'm around for questions. You won't have questions on that though, because it's all fact. But yeah, thank you so much.